The Crypto Markets Update is brought to you by KuCoin, the best place to find the next crypto gem.
Forget crypto winter, this might be crypto ice age. And joining us now to discuss the crypto markets is Matt Weller, Global Head of Research at Forex broker Forex.com. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Glad to have you on. So many of the people in our audience are experiencing one of the 5 stages of grief. And you see the markets expressing itself in the stages of grief as well with this whole FTX catastrophe. What's that about? Where are we in this?
Well, unfortunately, we're pretty early in the cycle. I think the early part of this week, we saw the denial stage of depression where many traders and investors did not believe that FTX and SBF could so betray them. Now, I think we're pretty clearly in the anger stage. There are so many people that are frustrated, including lawmakers. And I think this stage is likely to last for a while. For those of you who haven't taken a psychology class in a while, the next stages to watch out for are bargaining. So if only I hadn't kept my money on FTX, if only they had held out a little bit longer for the markets to cover that hole, maybe we wouldn't be here. The final 2 stages, though, is really what we need to move through before the crypto market can move on. And that would be depression is the 4th stage. That in all likelihood will last weeks, months, maybe even a year or more when it comes to investors' outlooks. And finally, I think we'll get to acceptance, where we start to see traders, institutions start to come back to the space. But it's going to be a long road, and there was quite a bit of damage done this week.
Quite a bit of damage done to those institutional investors, the smart money, if you will, who were investing in FTX blindly, it seems, in retrospect, throwing all caution to the wind and not paying attention to the governance structure at FTX. Now, you see an historic parallel between the price of Bitcoin now and the last time we had a really miserable sell-off from an all-time high. What exactly is that about? Where do you see the analogy?
Yeah, it's almost spooky. We're a little bit past Halloween now, but the analog here is particularly eerie. If we go back to 2017, Bitcoin and the broader crypto market peaked around the 4th quarter of the year. It fell throughout most of the next year. It seemed to find a bottom in that case at about 6,000 for Bitcoin, but we continued to put in lower highs for months. And eventually, right around this time, 4 years ago in 2018, we saw Bitcoin break down sharply below that 6,000 level, actually fell all the way down to 3,000. And that's where we saw peak despondency, the depths of the crypto winter, or the crypto ice age, as you called it. And you can see that on the chart there. This is actually the current chart, where you'll notice a lot of those eerie parallels. We peaked in the 4th quarter of last year. Bitcoin's been trending lower. We did seem to find some support around that 18,000 level, but we were putting in lower highs along the way. And now this week's news about FTX might be the catalyst for a breakdown. I don't know whether we'll see another 50% drop down to 4-digit Bitcoin before we ultimately bottom. But if that analog holds, there's likely to be more pain ahead before we can finally form a bottom and set the stage for the next bull cycle.
What do you see as the fallout for other altcoins, especially those that FTX's Sam Bankman-Fried supported, such as Solana as well as ETH?
I think Solana, by association, is likely to have a lot of negative press and skepticism toward it. I do think the Solana ecosystem has moved beyond just one single rich or now not at all rich individual supporting it. But I think there's likely to be a strong negative association towards Solana. When it comes to Ethereum, I think the outlook is maybe a little bit brighter, though by no means is this event positive for anywhere in the crypto market. But at least by association, or by comparison, I should say, Ethereum, I think, looks relatively better, because things like the DeFi ecosystem on Ethereum would have prevented this crisis, because you can always see proof of reserves. Liquidation happens automatically. Obviously, the struggles of Solana, a major Ethereum competitor, could benefit Ethereum in the long run. And we've just seen massive volume on the Ethereum chain that now is burning the supply of Ethereum. It's actually turned negative since the merge about 2 months ago. So there are some, I don't even want to call them positives, but less negative signs for Ethereum. And of course, Bitcoin, of course, continuing to do what it always has done. I think those two mega cap tokens are likely to be the survivors, that they're likely to gain market share, even if it's not obviously a bullish development for price.
What's your advice for crypto investors right now? You know, many of whom are understandably freaking out. I mean, what would you advise them?
Well, this is a reminder of the risks of centralized exchanges. I think in the bull market, or even just seeing the stability of some of these exchanges, many individual investors and traders may have gotten lax with their security. Generally, it's accepted that the best practice is to control your own wallet. And if they're not your private keys, they're not your coins. And we're getting a very stark reminder of that with this FTX saga. And other than that, I would suggest being actually interested in the space. I think that's what's really going to keep investors around through what I anticipate to be a longer bear period. If you're actually interacting with the blockchains, if you're finding compelling things to do on them, you're going to be a step ahead of the utility that's likely to come. But in the short term, I think it's just try to stay the course and don't focus on the price, much like many people did throughout all of 2018.